channel. This is Anani. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I do hope you stick around. Subscribe below, join our community. And if you are returning, thank you so much for tuning in once again. Today's video, I think is going to be a very good one. I think it's going to be a great one. I am going to teach you guys exactly how to buy a house in Jamaica. I'm going to take you step by step from the beginning to the end, and I'm basically going to tell you guys everything you need to know in order to have the home of your dreams on the beautiful Caribbean island. So I do have a packet, which is basically a packet of, my personal contacts, who I personally used during my experience, from my real estate agent, my lawyer, everybody, the bank contact that I used and things of that nature. But yes, I do have that, the link for that packet in the description if you do want to, just kind of go that extra mile. With that being said, without further ado, let's get into the video, and we're going to start with step one. The first thing that you need to do to buy a house in Jamaica, you're going to have to get something called your TRN number. Your TRN number. Now, I'm going to explain this process based on the fact that I am not a native-born Jamaican. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is get a TRN number. Now, what is that? TRN, I liken it to like a social security number, or like a tax ID number. Basically, you need this if you're going to conduct any kind of business, any kind of dealings in Jamaica. So there are two ways that you can get your TRN number. You can get your TRN number in person, or you can get your TRN number online. So I feel like there are pros and cons to both. Me personally, I got mine in person. So I had planned to, kind of scout out locations that I was interested in buying a home in Jamaica. So I already had kind of like a trip planned, and I decided to, since I'm already there, just swing by the tax office and get my TRN number. But you can also do it online. So of course the benefits to doing it online is that you don't have to be there. You don't have to plan that trip overseas. You can go to the link, and I'll have it like at the bottom of the screen, also in the description. You can go to that link. It's pretty self-explanatory. They'll tell you how to get the number, and then once it's completed, they will mail it to you rather. Now the cons for that is the fact that it takes about 4 to 6 weeks for you to get it mailed to you. Me personally, the pro of going into the tax office is I got my TRN number within the hour. Like same day you can get it, sort of a thing. So it basically depends on what is cool for you. Step two is you are going to have to reach out to a financial institution in Jamaica, because you are going to have to get your pre-approval letter. Your pre-approval letter. So what is this letter? This letter basically tells your real estate agent how the max cost of a house that you're allowed to see, if that makes sense. Like you can go up to this bracket. So yes, you're going to have to get a pre-approval letter. You're going to have to reach out to a financial institution. There are three that I know of, and throughout this video I will talk to you about my experiences with each of them personally, and the one that I personally recommend. But yes, there are 3 institutions that do work with foreigners. For starters, JMMB Bank, and then you also have JN Bank, and then you also have NCB Bank. So you're going to reach out to one of the mortgage officers there. If you go on their website, you can typically see a list of the mortgage officers. You're going to go on there, you're going to email one of them, and you're going to say, hello, I am basically ready to buy a house. I need my pre-approval letter. So typically, like I say, I'm going to speak on, the process of the bank that I worked with. They're going to ask you for certain things in order to determine your pre-approval. So what I got asked for was my TRN number. I also got asked for my ID. I also got asked for 6 months pay slips from my job. And then I also got asked for my credit report from any of our credit bureaus. And if I'm forgetting anything else, I'll put it on the screen as well. But yes, they're going to ask you for that. And then they're also too going to send you typically a consent form that you sign. And it basically says, yes, I consent to them looking at my credit report or something of that effect. What they asked me for, I was able to scan it all and I sent it to the mortgage officer. And then it was actually fairly quick. I can't remember the exact timeline. I'm gonna say within a week, actually, I received my pre-approval letter. And like I said, it told me this is basically the max that you can afford, sort of a thing. So after that, step 3 is when you're going to reach out to your real estate agent. You're gonna find one if you don't have one already. Typically what I recommend, I went on the Keller Williams website. I scrolled through and I, looked for someone that I thought, would work well with me. And you can look through, find a real estate agent. They typically have their phone number. A lot of them even have WhatsApp, which is very convenient, and their email. So I sent the real estate agent that I chose, an email and basically said, hey, I'm ready to purchase a house. I already kind of had in mind the location, so I would recommend you kind of having a general idea. If you don't, that's totally fine. It's just the options for a home, it won't be like narrowed down, it'll be kind of like all over the island. So once you send that email, kind of basically telling them, hey, I kind of know what I'm looking for, or I'm open. I don't know quite what I'm looking for, but I'm ready to buy a house. What they do is they add you to this thing called a private client service. So basically at that point, what happens is they basically send you through that portal all of the houses that kind of meet your criteria. I would recommend, and this is something that I definitely will say, I would highly recommend you doing your due diligence, because if you are a foreigner like myself, sometimes you don't quite know the area. So for instance, there was this one house that I had saw, and I loved it. I thought it was a great house, right? But when I spoke, to my real estate agent, he was basically saying, yeah, like it is a nice house, but I wouldn't recommend the area. You know what I'm saying? So you can kind of have that rapport with your real estate agent, and they can kind of give you more in-depth, knowledge about the house and the area and things of that nature. Because sometimes you might see a great house for a great price, but just like in America or anywhere else, sometimes that comes with certain things. So I would just say do your due diligence. Just because you see a house that you think is fantastic, always go and either check it out yourself if you can, or like in the instance of my real estate agent, when I couldn't be there, he would actually go and look at the viewings for me. Some real estate agents don't have a fee for that. Some just do it on the house. Mine did have a small fee depending on where I needed him to go. But yes, and he would send me pictures, images. He would even FaceTime me at these viewings and things of that nature. So again, I would highly recommend look at everything before you purchase it. It sounds self-explanatory, but yes. Another thing that I also did when I purchased my house, my real estate agent even reached out, to the police in that area, and we kind of got like a rundown of, the area that I was staying and, things like that. And, like I say, I do recommend, even if you can do that, reaching out to the local police force and just asking them, in general, how is this area and things of that nature, so you can have a more informed decision. But that being said, is step 4. So once you identify a home on your private client and you're like, yes, like this seems like a house that I am wanting, what you're going to have to do next is start thinking about finding a lawyer. So this was something that was a bit different for me than it is in the States. So in Jamaica, all purchases of homes, you must have a lawyer involved. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, okay, but let me tell you something. It is extremely beneficial. So it's not just like, oh, you know, they're just trying to do something. No, it is actually very, very, very beneficial to have a lawyer. And like I say, when you have to start sending your deposits in for the home, when you have to start, you know, looking over your legal documents and things of that nature, it is beneficial. It is very helpful. And like I say, it is required. Like, it is required. So you do have to do that. Because what's going to happen is, let's say you see a house, you like the house, you want to put in an offer for the house, you can definitely do that. But on the offer papers that you send in, you have to put a lawyer down that is representing you, which is why I say that step 4 really should be you finding a lawyer. So typically in my case, because I was like, where do I even start with this? Typically your real estate agent already has contacts of lawyers that do the home, like they're home buying lawyers. So typically when you say, do you have a lawyer that you know, they already have it, like already got it for you. So yes, that was in my case. I asked my real estate agent, like, do you have a lawyer? Because I don't have one. Gave me one. When I tell you, 10s across the board. Excellent, 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 excellent. Love this lawyer. Like I say, if you guys are interested in my contacts, the people that I use, the link is in the description to get that, to purchase that packet. But yes, 10s across the board. Love her. She is excellent. She was professional. She was accommodating, like just fantastic. So after that, after you find your lawyer, is where we get into the next phase, which is step 5. That is when you put in the offer for your home. So say you found it, you know, your real estate agent, he looked through, your real estate agent, he went to go view it for you if you couldn't, or you saw it yourself. You went through it, you loved it, you know, you've done everything, and you're like, yes, this is the house that I want. Now you put in your offer to purchase. So here's some advice, because again, Jamaica, it is a little bit different from how we do it in the States. So in America, sometimes the listing price is not always the price that you end up buying it for. We do here, or we do have a thing here where you can like negotiate down the price, and you know, you kind of haggle and things of that nature, and then you walk away with the deal, or maybe you pay the same price or whatever. In Jamaica, that is not the case. What you see as the listing price is pretty much already the negotiated price. Like, that's pretty much as low as it's going to go. Now, of course, you know, you could always put in an offer that's lower than that. But like I say, the price is already so cut that it is likely that they will like completely skip over your offer because a person is willing to pay either that exact amount or like within a margin of a difference. So say for instance you see a house that's like worth like 20 million JMD. You don't, there's no room to really be like, well, I'm gonna pay 15 million for it, let's put in that offer. Like, no, your offer will be rejected. You will be sent away, and they're going to pick the person that has the $20 million offer. You know what I'm saying? Because it pretty much is already negotiated down. So do keep that in mind when you are putting in your offer to purchase. If you are not willing to pay full price for the house, then you might want to lower the bracket or figure something else out where you can save longer to purchase it or whatever, because what the price is what the price is. Also too, when you're putting in your offer to purchase, also to keep this in mind, because this is also a bit different from America. So let's say you put in your offer, you know, and eventually you're going to secure the mortgage from the bank, which we'll talk about that later on in the video. In America, like, sometimes you can get a little bit more than the what you're buying the house for in the loan if you want to do renovations or things like that. In Jamaica, that is not the case. So say for instance, you see a fixer upper house and it's 14 million JMD, just saying that. They're not gonna give you 20 million in your loan to fix the house up. They're not gonna do that. It's going to be that amount. You know what I'm saying? So, and even like if your pre-approval letter, let's say you want a house that's 15 million JMD, but you're pre-approved for 24 million, they're not going to give you 24 million. It matters not. It matters what the house is. So like I say, keep that in mind when you're doing the pre-approval, or I'm sorry, when you're putting in the offer to purchase your home.